Hello everyone, zyulls here, bringing you another TFT match. This is another pre-recorded match, so post-commentary. We got a 3-cost champion start from our good friend Jurassic Park, and this is a match where I'm close to getting gold. I believe I'm about 20 LP away in Silver 1, so definitely a match where we could rank up and hit gold 4. And you'll see in this video there's a few more edits to kind of keep that extra downtime to a minimum. So early on here, I'm looking at this Jinx headliner. It is rapid fire, and I really want to take it. It is kind of tempting, but I also have the Yone and Katarina, so I could try for a crowd diver comp. So just do a little bit of scouting here, and that's enough to dissuade me from getting the Jinx. I did see there were, I think, 3 players in total with Jinx on the board, and two of them had Jinx headliners. So that's enough, and I get an Annie headliner here. I'd like to grab Annie. It is even, buffing the emo trait or origin, whichever one it is. But I was pretty sure in my past I saw some Annie players and there was an Annie headliner. So again, I kind of opt against it. I didn't want to pick anything that was contested, and it's still early on. I don't need to commit to a headliner or anything like that, but really in this next round I should grab one. So looking at these augments, I know I don't want crown guarded, so I reroll that right away. I am thinking about getting healing orbs, and big gains is tempting me at this point. Thought about grabbing Do It For The Fans for a second, but I wanted to try big gains. I hadn't seen it before, and in this shop, I ended up getting an Olaf headliner for Pentakill. So we pick that up, we sell the Vex, and we level, and we get that Olaf in. So at this point, my mindset is maybe we try something with Bruiser or potentially Pentakill. Seeing if I can get the Olaf to stack enough for it to be worth it. And so to give myself the best chances for that, I do slam the Titan's Resolve, and I figure it's a good item. It'll be useful later on. So even if I pivot away from Olaf, it'll be all right. So first match, we get paired up against the Disco player, and at first I wasn't quite sure if Olaf would be able to do it, but he holds on long enough, and is able to do that attack speed life gain thing where he sticks around. So looking at this shop, the only thing really here, I could pick up the MF and potentially utilize that, but I just grabbed the Yasuo and I just waited out. Here, we got a player that's at level 3. I'm not entirely sure what they were doing here, if they were trying to just lost streak. But this is a guaranteed win. I don't know if they were hoping that Annie with Rageblade and the sword could carry, but yeah, that was a very easy win. And you'll see here that I think this is one of my better matches. I'm more happy with how I handled the later situations, I guess. But again, we got another round where we just pick up Olaf and wait until combat. And we head into combat with the KDA player. This is one that I was also pretty certain I was going to end up losing, given that they were level 5, and it's certainly looking that way. Olaf is definitely not enough to hold on there, unfortunately. And here, going into the first carousel, we are second pick. So looking at what's on the board, I wasn't entirely sure on what I was wanting to get yet, but blue buff was buffed, and it's on a Gragas, so I could utilize both of those. Sure enough, we find a Gnar, and we'll get him slotted in for some pentakill. Just figuring out my positioning, where I want to put things. I want to keep Olaf kind of safe from the initial initial Gragas, where we're gonna put Gragas in. Keep him safe from the initial combat. I don't want him taking aggro. Yes, it's good to get Olaf low HP so we can get that passive rolling, but sometimes he just grabs too much of it. So I find it's better to leave him off to the side just a little bit so he picks it up later on. It also lets him get his Titan's Resolve stacked up. But unfortunately, this player ends up being a little bit of a problem for me initially because the Aphelios headliner does have a Rage Blade, so not a whole lot I can do in that department. But in 2-6, we'll just grab the Tahm Kench and the SETT, and we'll get them put in, shift up our positioning a little, and then just wait until the next combat. And again, we get paired up against somebody that's level 4. I'm not really sure why they're level 4 still. It generally is better to be level 5 in this case, or at this time. Maybe they were just trying to like super econ. But their comp is definitely not strong enough to keep up. And in Krugs, there's nothing in the shop that I was looking for, so we just kind of sat around until it happened. And I'm really hoping to find another tier, which I do. So now we do have that new blue buff. I think it's really strong. I think the new blue buff is a really good item. So looking at the shop here, nothing really that I want. So it's time to start thinking about our positioning and if there are any items that we want to slam down right now. Just making sure that I get the positioning correct first. The last thing I want is to be thrown into a combat and have my units take aggro where I don't want them to. So I have the blue buff access here and actually access to a gun blade, but I wasn't really sure on getting them on a unit right now. Because again, I'm not entirely sure if I'm committing to Olaf or if I want to try and get something going on SETT or Gragas here. Thankfully, that big gains has been stacking a little bit. I didn't notice it a ton at first, but I definitely you definitely notice it later on some of the other units that are able to consistently get takedowns. And I definitely think if I was able to get an attack speed item on Olaf, we for sure would have won that combat, but oh well. Going into the second augments here, these are all really tempting, and I think they're all really good, but I'm looking at them and I'm like, nothing here I don't think guarantees me a top 4. So Freaky Friday we rolled into, and I really like that. You can tell by the mouse movement. Endless Hordes is a new one for me. I've never seen it before, but after reading it, I don't think that's what I want to go for. And so we roll the middle, and we end up getting Wellness Trust. Gain 3 gold, and then at the end of each player combat, if you have 40 gold, gain 2 health. We do grab that. I think that is one of the things that helps me out the most. Going to this next combat, I do run into somebody who is running a little bit of an emo composition. The Poppy is definitely scary to me. I've seen how well Poppy can do, and starting to see more people play it now, given Poppy got a pretty good buff in the last patch. Unfortunately, our Olaf is not able to hang on long enough, and he does get taken down. So again, look at this comp, this shop, we just get the Tahm Kench 2-star, and we just chill until the next combat, where we run into a true damage big shot composition. I think if this person had true damage emblem on their MF, it would just be over. they easily would just win the whole lobby, I think. True damage is insanely good right now. So, yeah, we don't stand a chance against them right now. Maybe that changes in our future. Just maybe. You'll have to stick around. If you're liking the video at this point, feel free to give it a like, sub if you feel, and leave a comment letting me know what you think. So in this carousel, I really wanted to get the spatula. There are other items here that I would like, but I figure if there's a spatula in the carousel and I have the opportunity, I should definitely take it. So go to level 6 immediately after, and I'm looking at this shop and I pick up one of the kales. I think I don't grab this other kale here, and in hindsight, I really should have. There's no reason not to. So we're going to do a little bit of rolling, trying to see if we can get another headliner that we can use. We are able to 2-star set here, and I almost picked up that kale. But at this point, I think I'm pretty committed. I want one of the bruisers. Really trying to make something like that work here. Do find a few sets, and we roll down to 21 gold. And here we find a Mordekaiser headliner and a 2-star Gnar. And because Mordekaiser's got Pentakill there and we already have Gnar, I'm like, okay, sure. We'll do Pentakill, I guess. Nobody else was in the lobby was really running it, so I can make it work. Looking at these items that I've got, no, we'll move Olaf up to the front at first. We'll move him up to the front, and we put the Titan's Resolve, and we are going to put a blue buff down on Mordekaiser now. Give him a bit more mana, give him some AP, and then when he gets a takedown, then he'll get even more AP. And if anyone is unfamiliar, Mordekaiser, when he does what he just did, where he gets a takedown with his ability, he gets permanently stacking ability power 1% for each stack. So I'm really throwing all my eggs into that basket, trying to get that as strong as I can. With Wolves, we'll grab the units that synergize with our Pentakill build and see what items we get. And we end up getting another tier and swords and rods. Looking at these items that I can make, I really want something else for Mordekaiser to give him a little bit more resistances. So right here I'm looking at Adaptive Helm, and I do end up deciding, yes, I want Mordekaiser to have Adaptive Helm. Give him some of that armor and magic resist that is also needed to keep him alive. Now here, I don't want the Threshes. Thresh is a really good unit, and I probably definitely could have found a spot for him later on, but at this point, I've got some of these bruisers in, and I've had them in for a while, and you'll notice like SETT's got a lot of HP. I want that to stack with, or compound the bruiser bonus on the takedown stacks for HP they've gotten from our first augment. So we end up taking an unfortunate loss. These Aphelioses with the Rage Blade are really doing me in. At least for now. Looking at the final augment, support cache is very good. I thought about taking this bow, just so that I would be able to have a Rage Blade right away, but I roll into Cybernetic Bulk, and I do opt for it. I think it's more value. For when I get more units itemized later on. I could have taken the bow for a guaranteed Rage Blade, but I wasn't entirely sure on if I was going to play Kale or Viego or Karthus. So we do 2-star Kale for now, and just trying to see if she's able to, or what kind of damage she's able to output. And unfortunately for me with this combat, Mordekaiser's kind of stuck on Kaisa, which forces him to run around a lot. But it ends up being alright, because he does get a few executes there. And I think after seeing this, I realized I should put a Gunblade on Kale. It's getting a little Omnivamp in those situations for herself, and Mordekaiser would be really good. So we do luck out here and we grab a Viego. But I didn't know who to slot out here, and I still think it was a good call to keep Kale in. Because I was able to 2-star Kale. I think having the higher star value is more important. But just looking at the stacks that Mordekaiser's currently got. And this is the player that we lost to at first. But this time our front line's a bit more beefy. We got Nara in the middle, we got Mordekaiser stacking up, and Kale is doing her thing. So it's looking pretty good. Our Mordekaiser is definitely stronger than the opponent. What it comes down to is if Corki can eliminate our front line first, which he can, and he does unfortunately bring our Kale down. So looking at this carousel, I have the Spat and I see the vest on Jhin. I really want to grab that so I can get Pentakill emblem, but seeing that last match, I end up grabbing the bow so I can make a Rage Blade on Kale. This was my tipping point of, okay, yeah, Kale's gonna carry us. Mordekaiser's there to sit as long as he can, and Kale is going to ramp up and heal him when he's inevitably the last one alive from the front line. And I was a little concerned here for a bit that the Karthus was going to take down too many of our units, but thankfully we are tanky enough still where that's not a problem. And that shop, we didn't want anything, so we just waited out the timer. And we'll go up against a player that's got Hyper Pop 2. A little concerning, especially seeing that Lulu's items. But thankfully, our front line is able to just hold on and completely withstand anything that is thrown at it. So Kale is able to ramp up pretty fast, and we take a pretty good win. Very happy with how Mordekaiser and Kale function there. Going into chickens, at this point I'm really hoping for a vest. I passed one up and we luck out and get another vest. So we didn't miss out on the Pentakill emblem, which is really, really nice. And thankfully we do have Karthus here, so looking at the shops, I can either opt for Viego or Karthus, whichever one I hit first. So get a Giant Slayer on Kale, and then I put the Pentakill emblem on SETT. So SETT is looking pretty darn good. We'll level up to 8 so we can get that Pentakill 7 going. I ended up putting Viego in, and in hindsight I think putting Karthus in was better. Karthus would be able to get more guaranteed damage down across the board. So definitely a note going forward. But thinking if any time in this round or this match I was able to beat this player that I've been losing to constantly, surely now is the time. I've got perfect items on my Kale and Mordekaiser, and we do take the clean win. So here in this shop, we do start to roll a little bit. Thought about going 9, but at the end of the day I decided starring up my board is more important, and I hit a stroke of bad luck here where I'm getting all of the units I need, but not in the right order. So I think I like roll over or end up rolling over a ton of Kenches where I very easily could have 3-starred it. Same thing with SETT, same thing with Kale. It just gets a little brutal here. We do manage to grab an Alawi at the last minute, so we can swap that Gragas out at the end of this combat. And this is the player where Mordekaiser gets stuck on Kaisa, but thankfully Akali always seems to end up at Mordekaiser at the end of his cast, so he just executes her. I wasn't too worried about swapping my positioning around for that player, knowing that's how their board has been functioning. So here we'll get the Alawi in, and we're gonna change our positioning around just in case that Akali or Ezreal or Kaisa are able to actually get into our backline. Then there's a couple other targets for them. Here we're just gonna roll down and try to see if we can star up any of our units here. There's that Kench. I could have had a 3-star. It's really unfortunate that I hit them the way I did, and maybe I should have just sold the Karthuses if I hadn't had Viego in. But I don't know, if any of you have played TFTs, sometimes it's hard to think clearly in the moment because you got so many things you got to do in the short amount of time. And you hear that timer ding and you start to panic. Kind of like how I was feeling after this round, because that was a very, very bad loss. We hardly took out any of that player's units. Looking at this carousel, pretty disappointed. There aren't hardly any items that I'm wanting to take here, so I just end up grabbing the Mordekaiser in hopes of getting Mordekaiser 3. And this is a site that always throws me off. Because rolling through the shop, I try to sell something and buy it. I tried to buy that Viego, and it filled my board, or my bench, unfortunately. So here we sell Olaf, pick up Kale, realize Kale is more important than Olaf, and we find another SETT. Now, what I would like to have done, looking back at this, is actually sell Mordekaiser and pick up the SETT. Should have sold both of them right now and picked up the SETT so I stay at 40 gold, and that way I can continue to heal. Unfortunately, that is not what I end up doing though. Go into this loss. I do try to buy the SETT immediately. We sell a Kale just to hit 40 gold. Because I'm so tunnel visioned on that Mordekaiser, rolling for it, even though there are other people in this lobby running Mordekaiser, so I should know right now I'm probably not going to 3-star it, at least not until some of these other players get knocked out. But we do end up finding 3-star SETT, and his health bar is looking very big. And I'm not entirely sure why I have this belt on the bench still. Definitely should have given that to like Olaf or Viego here. But thankfully our board is very strong compared to the rest of the players in this lobby. So we got a lot going for us with the stacking Mordekaiser, the stacking SETT, the pentakill bonuses, and with the Kale support with that Gunblade. So going into the dragon, just rolling down a little bit, seeing what I can grab, and we do finally 3-star Tahm Kench, which is very nice to always have the beefier front line. Ironically, it's not any of the units that I would prefer to have 3-starred. SETT is good. SETT is good, don't get me wrong. But I definitely want wanted the Kale and the Mordekaiser. Either one of those. I think that would have put me in a much better spot. So we do grab Viego and Karthus, and here I've got a Steadfast Heart. So we go ahead and put that on set right away. Hopefully keep him alive a lot longer. We're finding an awful lot of Samiras here. This would have been a good game to go Samira. Find another Mordekaiser, but fortunately, like I let you guys know, that's just bait. That is just bait. I've also seen a lot of Gnars. Should have been picking up Gnar. Like right here, there's no excuse not to, but get distracted by the Karthus that I'm not even playing. Because maybe I can get a Pentakill 10 game. Always got that Prismatic in the back of my head. Once you get a taste of one, you just want to get them all the time. Fortunately, we aren't able to take this player out yet, but that is much closer than previous. So here, looking at the rest of the board, I'm at 9 HP, and there's still 5 of us in the lobby, so I am a little concerned about not making top 4, but we are able to 2-star Viego. So I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable, and just checking our stacks. We've got so many stacks on that Mordekaiser. So I'm feeling pretty okay. We hover 39 gold just in case we end up winning. Then we can keep our health gain going forward. And at the time, I didn't even see the person's little legend in the top left. I thought we were playing against a clone team. And we weren't going to take anyone out when we won here, but we do end up eliminating a player, which means we have guaranteed ourselves top 4. So we're definitely getting some LP gain, and looking at the rest of the lobby, I'm opting to roll down all of my gold because it's not doing me any good sitting there. I might as well try and turn it into a 3-star in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if you caught it there, but I rolled over a Kale. And I never found another Kale. So, if I lose this combat, it's over. And it's because I rolled too fast and didn't pick up on that Kale. And unfortunately, we run into the second place person, who I have beaten before, but not very confident because they were able to star up their board better than I was, and we do get taken out and get a 3rd place. We get baited a little bit by the level up screen. I thought it was the promotion to gold, but no promotion to gold. 85 LP, still silver 1. I'll see you guys in the next one.